Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I connect with Dr. Glenn Harper again, author of the Sydney Brutalist Project, and check out the Sydney Police Centre. If you missed part 1, that goes through the origins of brutalism, there's a link in the top right hand of the screen. Oh, and I'm Andrew, I'm an architect in Sydney, and I make videos about architecture, design, and other subjects. The Sydney Police Centre is a great example of late modern architecture, and a fine example of brutalism in Sydney, designed and completed from 1975 to 1987. It was designed by the New South Wales Government Architect and Project Architect Richard Dinham. Come with us as we observe its beautiful concrete finishes and bold forms. And if you like further content like this, please like and subscribe. Okay, so welcome back. I'm here again with Glenn, and we're looking at another building to do with Sydney Brutalism. Glenn, you selected this building because it's to do with the latter stage of brutalism. Can you tell us, start off by telling us about this building and why it's significant?
Well, we're currently standing in front of the Sydney Police Centre, which I would argue is the last of the major public buildings designed by the New South Wales Government and constructed in 1987. So the late 80s is, I would argue, again, as being the last of the end of the period of significant brutalist buildings in Sydney. And this particular building, the Sydney Police Centre, the design was started in 1975, and it was constructed in various stages, and it was completed in 1987. So what's that, 12 years. It's a very large building, has deep basements, and it took 12 years to design and construct. And this was the first major phase, and there was a proposal to keep going with the construction, but by 1987, times had changed, and there was a disinterest in large public buildings, especially large concrete public buildings. The building was designed by the New South Wales Government Architect and the Project Architect, who maintained 12 years of continual work on the building, was an architect called Richard Dinham. And Richard started designing this building in 1975 when he came back from overseas with a master's degree, and then he continued working on it. I mean, it's interesting to note that architects in the public works or young architects could be given significant projects.
It's still going,
significant projects to work on. And Richard was in his 20s when he started working on this building. So he graduated from the University of New South Wales with the University Medal in 1973 or 4. And then went immediately to do his master's degree in the United Kingdom, and returned in 1975 and got a cushy job.
What a job.
Wonderful job at the Public Works Department, or the Government Architects branch, and given this large project to work on. Now, it's important to note that this all-concrete building fits a certain attitude towards the expression of significant civic buildings in Sydney. And by the 1970s, the use of concrete was considered as a worthy material to express significant and important public buildings. And it's worth comparing what the government architect was doing in the 19th century with the government architect's work in the late modern period. And in the 19th century, stone was being selected for significant public buildings, whereas face brickwork was being used as lesser important public buildings. And by the 1970s, 1980s, we had a change of attitude, but not a change of function. And the attitude was the change of attitude was in the use of the material, and all concrete finish was deemed as a significant material to give significant expression.
Just walk this way a bit, if you were talking.
To give significant expression. It's the other thing to note is it's a fully functioning police station with people coming and going, and people being locked up, people being charged, and people coming to pay their fines. Anyway, so concrete was selected as a significant building, as a significant material. Now, it's also worth noting that the architects working on or designing for public buildings were considering the role of traditional elements and integrating that with the brutalist idiom. And so what we have here is not only the selection of a high quality material, as in the form of concrete, but the traditional elements in the form of colonnades, plinths, and a significant entry was considered as, for local just going by, as considered as a significant formal component of the expression of this modern building. So once we go towards the rear of the building, we'll be able to see that it takes on a different role, becomes much more modern, and adopts the brutalist idiom. But at the front, facing the street, and its public address, it's much more traditional in its form, although it's certainly grand and large. There's a large public building, but the steps section contributes to this sort of notion of a colonnade, and we have express columns that communicate this idea of a columnar entry porch. And it's quite a magnificent and majestic building that's certainly not given the worthy praise that it deserves these days.
Can you describe, you mentioned before, the geometry and the setup of this building relative to the street?
Yes, it's a modern building, and in that sense it takes on its own geometry, it has its own geometry, and it's not, the entry and the portico is not set parallel to the street, it's set on the oblique, and it has adopts its own geometry, and you'll see that once we walk around the back. You see that it takes on its own geometry in terms of very large monolithic forms are broken into various parts, but on the street face, it's set oblique to the, as I mentioned, set oblique to the street edge, but that gives an opportunity for brick paving, step seating, and planters, and a double row of shade trees, which you can see in the background of this image.
Okay.
Let's have a closer look at the concrete finish. At the public face, you'll note that there is at least 4 different finishes to the concrete, and there's a hierarchy of concrete finish. There's board mark finish to the columns, although the boards are narrow because of the radius, but the vertical surfaces are board marked. The spandrels are honed finish, and then the beams and ceiling, structural floor slab is smooth concrete. So there's at least 4 different finishes of concrete being explored on the exterior of this building, which tends to be overlooked on any appreciation of it.
Do you know what is in situ versus what's precast?
I would argue that all the elements that we see here are in situ. The roof, the waffle slab would use formwork, but it's not precast. So it's a very unusual sense in that all the elements are all the elements are in situ, except for the paving, which are large format of precast granite slabs. So, but all the major building elements are in situ concrete.
It's very high quality finish.
Oh yes, definitely.
For in situ, say like that panel and then the horizontal joint.
Oh, it's a significant public building or civic building. So of course it's a high quality finish, and concrete was the material of choice in the 70s and the 80s.
It's really like how these flying beams connect this floor space.
Well, it's a step section to give a sort of dramatic entry, but it also has a environmental function in that the step section self-shades the windows as we're facing.
Very deep reveal, yeah.
So it has an environmental as well as an urban strategy, so that the entry becomes this urban marker of civic space. And we're standing here with a wall with a major sign which says the Sydney Police Centre. And the point I want to make is that when the police commissioner wants to make any press releases or police press statements, he or she will be standing here in front of the sign, and with concrete being also seen in the rear of the press release.
I remember lots of them.
Yeah, But the point being, which tends to overlook any criticism of this building, that concrete is still being seen as a material that denotes importance and government importance.
Well, I really like how just even like the connection of the beam to the column.
Yeah, so not only relies on a very good documentation team, but it also relies on an impeccable construction team.
Yep.
So let's walk around the back.
This way or that way?
Here. Let's go
That way.
east. You want to take an entry? Sorry, let's have a look at the entry.
Oh yeah,
And
here we go. Oh yeah.
For such an important civic building, the only criticism I do have is that the entry is not necessarily well defined. It's in the same order as the windows, and it's almost as a small gap in the window framing. So it's I mean, I think that's a comment,
Just
a general comment for all modern buildings. Even Louis Kahn had the same problem in defining or giving expression to entrance to his buildings.
When you're doing your research for the Byera Hadley Scholarship and PhD,
Yes.
what kind of sources do you go to?
Multiple sources, not only archival, the State Library and the State Archives do have letters, government letters and drawings to investigate. Secondary sources, including magazines, professional journals, and publications.
Yep.
And because it's a recent history, oral histories. During the preparation of my PhD, I interviewed 14 practicing architects.
Oh wow!
So
a lot of them are still around.
yes. Unfortunately, some have passed on. But I did interview 14 architects working in the private sector and the government sector, that is at a state and federal level, or even municipal level, to get a cross-section of views.
Yep.
And attitudes towards the treatment of public buildings in the 60s through to the 80s.
Yep. And were you in contact with any other researchers of brutalism overseas doing similar things?
For the Byera Hadley, I interviewed a group of enthusiasts in Boston and went to the Canadian Centre of Architecture and looked at a couple of exhibitions there, and then interviewed some researchers at the Getty Institute to get a cross-section of approaches to advocacy. So it wasn't necessarily, the Byera Hadley wasn't necessarily historic research, it was more getting an understanding on how scholarship merges with advocacy.
Yep.
So let's stop here.
We'll go that way, so we have in the background.
Okay.
So, here.
Well, I want you to be able to see the divisions. Can you see the various divisions?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're standing, I guess, for want of a better word, on the rear of the building. Although it's a three-dimensional building and has a public face to at least 3 streets. But this elevation is not accessed by public, it's accessed by police. And you can notice behind us the very high security fence now that's recently been installed. But you can notice that it's a very large multi-story building divided into blocks. and the staircases are expressed as concrete blades.
They really go quite high.
Yes, they do. Yeah, so it's you know, it's a formal expression of often universal office space being defined by the waffle slabs, and then certain various modules. They're intersected by vertical circulation routes, which are expressed externally as blades. Now, the building itself is divided into 3 blocks running east-west, and these blocks are separated by 2 courtyards, and the courtyards extend all the way through to the basement level. So the idea is that these courtyards do function as light wells as well as providing visual amenity. Unfortunately, the public cannot experience these courtyards unless you have been incarcerated.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's a very large building, as I mentioned, and it has multiple basement levels. And it not only has a local police usage, but it also has Metropolitan Police for all of New South Wales and administration, as well as forensic research here. And there's also a rifle practice range located deep in the basement.
Yep.
So it has a lot of uses, dedicated to police uses.
Yeah.
So there's 4 additional things I wanted to add, or even just reiterate that this building was 12 years in its design and construction. Just had one single designer, Richard Dinham, but it had, while Richard was working on the project, it had a change of government architect. There was 3 government architects involved. Ted Farmer, sorry, probably 2, mainly 2. Charles Weatherburn and Ian Thompson were the architects. Now, Charles Weatherburn was an assistant government architect to Ted Farmer in the 60s and 70s, and that's when the Government Architect's Office started designing in concrete. So there were obviously the two government architects that were overseeing the work of Richard Dinham were supportive of the brutalist discourse. So that's the first thing. The second one I wanted to reiterate is that the selection of concrete in the 70s and 80s wasn't willy-nilly. It was selected for well, slightly political reasons. That concrete was used to signify and represent government use in government order, for want of a better word. And I think that sort of aspect is overlooked in any current discussions on the brutalism in Sydney. The third thing I wanted to mention was that most of the building is in situ concrete. There's very little precast concrete used. That's probably why it took 12 years to build. But in any case, there is some precast concrete used. That is the paving that we saw on the exterior at the entry, and also some precast concrete louvers being used for sun shading effect. And the fourth thing I wanted to mention is that this particular government institution, the New South Wales Police Force, respects their concrete finishes. As we saw at the University of New South Wales, the university made a stupid decision in my mind to paint the off-form concrete surfaces at Goldstein Hall. And this particular building, with so much concrete, is left to age gracefully.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.